Hello, my beautiful people. Welcome to another episode with Nora Finch. So, I am reading from one of my books today that I use in my overall in my coaching. It is The Power of Oneness, Live the Life You Choose by Sandra Brossman. And I haven't even fully dived into it in terms of reading it on my shows. I kind of pick and choose what I want. But you all really should get the whole thing. And at this point, this should still be on like an Audible or something. But I'm going to pick the most, I don't know to say valuable things, just kind of interesting things. I like the way that she words questions. I like the way, I just like her material, which is why I reference her a lot. Okay, so The Power of Oneness, this is referencing chapter 6, and I thought you would find this area interesting. So, of course, it's going to talk about our basic beliefs, what they stem from, our influences, all these different things. And like I said, I like, if you really want to dive deep in more, I like the things, she talks about where beliefs originate, why do we need to know about our basic beliefs, how can we become more conscious, which beliefs are blocking our potential. Then there's a little section, page 116, on it's like a self-evaluation thing, and it talks about underlying our perceptions of life. I really like that part. And then she asks you again questions at the end to make you go deep. And yeah, I like this. Okay, so if the part that I want to go into that I think is really intriguing is talking about these self-sabotaging behaviors and the 7 ways to stay stuck in our emotional pain. But I want to read before I get to that part. And so if we are choosing, okay, do I choose to change this belief? Okay, this is regarding how you look at life. Doing this evaluation I just talked about may help us to uncover the startling fact that for most of our lives we have been acting from a core of beliefs that are not our adult truth. For example, we may discover that one of our growth issues is self-worth and realize that we are still engaged in the childhood game of desperately trying to gain the approval of our parents, or that the beliefs we carry from our religious upbringing are still perpetuating chronic feelings of guilt. It's interesting to me, okay, you know that I like to add in my 2 little cents here, is that I think it was about age 23 or 24, though, actually realizing that, a lot of my thoughts were not my own. Maybe that's late in life, I don't know, but I just find that fascinating. So no matter what age you are, any time is a good time to wake up, people. You just have a different perspective. I don't know. Some people say, oh, you don't realize till later in life or whatever it is, but some people don't realize at all that they've been walking throughout life, like basically, if you want to, I don't need to say role playing, but you've been just acting and moving through it as a result of your programming, right? So it makes sense when I say it out loud, probably. Okay, next. Once we are aware of which basic beliefs are fear-based, we have a choice. Do we want to continue living the same patterns, or do we choose to open ourselves to greater potential? Whatever our self-limiting issues may be, we have the inner power to transform our lives by expanding our personal basic beliefs to coincide with our spiritual truth of oneness and unconditional love. We may discover that we have been holding on to many of our basic beliefs since childhood, whether or not they have been in our greatest good. Before we can release outgrown beliefs and replace them with perceptions based on oneness, we need to take a closer look at how our old paradigms have been supporting negative emotional patterns, which may be sabotaging our potential. Once we understand not only what our basic beliefs are, but what effect they have on the quality of our lives, we can consciously choose to transform our beliefs, which are based on fear and separation, into new ones which are aligned with the perspective of oneness. Okay, and then she goes on to why do we hold on to these? And maybe for some of you, again, like this sounds like duh, simple, but the best way that I can describe it is like when you're younger, the way that you view the world can be so close-minded. And because I look at all of this stuff now and read this stuff, and I'm like, oh my God, this is just growth just comes from expanding your mind. And I did it through cultural music and food. And unless you get out there in the world or live in the city and you're meeting different kinds of people, I can really see how it's really easy to stay where you are. You don't even know what there is to miss. You don't even know, or traveling, right? Traveling is something that can, of course, expand your mind, meet different types of people. So, um, anyway, I had to throw that in there. Okay, so since I'm going to be reading from this chapter, it has seven, what I tell you? Okay, 7 ways. I'm not going to read them all in this specific episode. I think I'm just going to read Martyr. I might read Martyr and Victim role because I'm sure I'll have something to say about myself. But what's interesting is all these roles, like I think I have fit into all of them. So it's really interesting. And then I will continue on with other, episodes talking, reading from the other ones. But I really want to soak them up and listen. And I'm going to try to talk slow. And like I said, I'm sure I'll have some examples in here. But one really big thing that hooked me on this chapter, or this section in particular, is this whole victim role, because I never really understood that when people would be like, they would just talk like, oh, that person's acting like a victim, or don't be a victim, or just kind of actually very uncompassionate things. And I didn't really understand what that meant, or the blaming of things in life and things like that, I guess not taking accountability. And so I don't know that I ever felt like this. We will see as I read through it again, whether I do it in this one or the next one. But self-sabotaging, and then also hearing that I think a lot of people are unconscious, so you would not even know that you are sabotaging something, right? Subconsciously, you are doing something unless somebody points it out, and you would not know, right? That you are doing this. So if there's relationships that dissolve or whatever as a result of your behavior, you may not know. Maybe at the end you find out, right? And it's too late for that relationship in particular. Okay, you were supposed to move on from it. So let's start with this first one. Okay, 7 self-sabotaging behaviors, page 122. 7 ways to stay stuck in our emotional pain. Number 1, the martyr role. Basic belief issue, self-worth. This is a syndrome in which we have difficulty acknowledging our worthiness to receive. Our lives feel out of balance as we attempt to satisfy everyone else's needs, even if it means sacrificing our own. We especially tend to get locked into this role if we have been raised in an environment which has taught us that it is selfish to nurture ourselves. Because we do not feel entitled to our own sense of value, we try to validate our worth through the eyes of other people. We have difficulty saying no, so we many times allow our time and our energy to be beholden to other people's beck and call. As a result, we feel resentful, overburdened, and unappreciated. If we do not understand the importance of honoring our own needs, we tend to drive ourselves into the ground with self-depleting behaviors such as overworking, overeating, and overcommitting ourselves in general. We don't stop until we get sick or disabled in some way, which is the only time we feel entitled to be gentle with ourselves. The emotional buy-in to this behavior is that we tell ourselves, see what a good person I am always giving to others. While giving to others is a virtuous and essential human quality, perhaps what we are forgetting is that loving others begins with loving ourselves. We don't need to prove ourselves to anyone in order to qualify for universal love. Each of us is worthy of receiving it simply because we exist. We deserve and need to regularly create quiet personal time and space to regenerate ourselves by being open to receiving the loving energy of the universe. When we do this, we become a conduit for limitless energy, which blesses and renews us individually as well as everyone around us. Okay, what would I like to say about these paragraphs? A lot. So it's interesting. She called it a syndrome. I think people that are naturally givers and love to give and love to serve, we don't mind sacrificing. I don't mind sacrificing. But on the other side of that, what I've realized and how it's affected my mental health, my overall health, how I get back of the head headaches and different things and make me wonder, like, what am I doing? What, like, some parts of my hobby are causing me stress, helping first responders, just the whole thing of just mental health, being involved with, domestic violence and assault, and their empowerment programs that I volunteer here in Sacramento. But like, what is it doing to me? Right. While I still feel fulfilled, what am I doing what is happening to me as a result of getting involved in these topics that are so dear to me. And I've always known, because I come from holistic background, how important self-care is and preservation. And I wouldn't say I put any of it on a back burner. I think my problem is because I'm 24/7 maniac. I feel like with a lot of this stuff over the past 5 years, it's been to my detriment. And I had to learn in this way what it's done to me. But I definitely would not say that I deserve. Okay, yes, I deserve to rest, definitely, because it will show up in my body to me. But I never give, like, as far as like my ego, like I need a pat on the back, or it makes me, oh, I'm such a good person. Like I just give, um, like I don't need an ego boost. I serve and I give because I want to, and I do this in friendships. The only thing I would say is that the level of energy that I give maybe is a little much sometimes or excessive, and I need to be more cautious and discerning who I give that to and how much, and when I know that I need to restore myself. So I wouldn't say this behavior or this martyr thing is like keeps me in pain. Um, Maybe it does. But, and I definitely don't have difficulty saying no and being at people's beck and call. So I don't really fit those sorts of things, which was almost described actually in people pleaser personality. So I don't know. So with that part, yes, I can definitely relate to it, but I definitely don't do it because I'm trying to get like boost my ego or things like that. I'm very fulfilled by giving back and giving to others. I think I just never really realized how draining it could be. Okay, so I'm going to stop there because I want you to sit with that and see if any of that resonates with you. And what I'm going to go over in the next couple of ones you can look forward to. I will get to them right away. And then, if not tonight, in the next couple of days. Okay, so victim role, basic belief issue, self-responsibility. Number 3, the pessimist role, basic belief issue, attitude. Number 4, the controller role. That's about personal power. 5, the perfectionist role. That's about commitment. Number 6, the resistor role is about openness to change. And 7 is the skeptic role, trust in the universe. Okay, so I thought this was really interesting and very unique. Like I said, like the different roles, I don't even like think about this. I don't even know about this till I read this here in this book. And maybe you will see some, like I said, resonating if you are into learning more about yourself, the type of person you are, why you do the things you do. And that is all that I am about. Basically solutions oriented. And if you haven't heard me talk about it before, growing up, I knew there were things that I didn't like about myself and my attitude, but I didn't know how to change them. And so that's why I have always been so intrigued by all of this. And maybe this helps you. Okay, so I'll talk to you next time. And maybe that'll give you a better explanation too of, I was really intrigued specifically about the victim role description. So maybe you will be too. Okay, talk to you next time. Bye-bye.